on the Texas A&M Sports Network. From Learfield, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. Welcome to the Joni Taylor Coaches Show, presented by Bud Light. It's for the fans. And by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit Rudy's.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Now, the Joni Taylor Coaches Show.
And hello again, everybody. Welcome out to Rudy's Barbecue. It is the Joni Taylor Radio Show. Great crowd on hand here. Talk women's basketball over the next hour. And then in the second hour, we're going to talk softball with Tricia Ford is going to be here. The debut of her show happens at 7 o'clock tonight, so stick around. And through the whole thing, we got every TV, or most of the TVs in the building, watching the A&M men's game that's going on. So you can sit here, watch the A&M men's game, listen to talk about women's basketball and softball, and have barbecue and have beverages of your choice right here at Rudy's Barbecue on Harvey Road. Just come on by, and we'll look forward to seeing you here. I'm Steve Miller, along with the head coach of the Aggies, Joni Taylor, and let's get right to it. Yesterday, what an incredible atmosphere at Reed Arena.
It was electric, from the moment we tipped until the time when the clock went off the horn. We had a lot going on. It was Beat the Hell Out of Breast Cancer. It was senior day. We had high school day, and we also had some former Aggies in attendance. It was a bit of a former student reunion. Just a great crowd, great atmosphere. And as we continued on in conference play, our crowd has just grown and grown. So just really, really appreciative of the 12th man and obviously our Fast Break Club and how they support us right now.
We'll talk about the game in just a moment, but the first thing that you mentioned was the Beat the Hell Out of Breast Cancer game. Tell us about how that impacted the team and the atmosphere.
Well, I can remember 12, 15 years ago, maybe I didn't know anyone who directly was affected by breast cancer, right? And just over the years, I don't know if there's anyone who doesn't have someone in their family or close to them, a coach, a friend, or someone who they can't name, or several names that have been affected by breast cancer. Either they, were survivors, or they're battling now, or they lost their fight with the disease. And so, we have a platform, and we have an ability to bring some attention to some things that matter. And you talk about Kay Yao and what she did at NC State and how she battled breast cancer and was one of the first ones that I can remember from, a women's basketball coach, just really putting the light right on it and bringing awareness to it. So anything we can do to, number one, raise money, to find a cure for it, and also honor, people who we've lost, and also people who have beat it and who are survivors and are winning their fight daily. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, and part of that, at halftime, we were able to honor and recognize folks that have been in remission or currently still battling. And boys, you look around, very few dry eyes in the house. I know you didn't get to see it, but that's what was going on out there.
It's a special moment. And I think when we are able to do that at halftime and allow our fans to, be a part of something like that, it brings us all together. And it just makes us, it's a reminder of how real it is.
So then the second thing you mentioned also we had Senior Day. We had a couple of seniors being recognized with Aaliyah Patty and Mackenzie Green. And tell us why we had to do it on the first practical day of February, it seems.
We like to do our senior recognition on a Sunday. Yeah. And last Sunday was our last Sunday game. I cannot believe it. That's our last Sunday game. We had a ton of Sunday games in January. We don't have any more. The rest of our games are on a Monday or a Thursday. And the reason why we do it on a Sunday is because for the first time this year, our Fast Break Club hosted a senior banquet for our seniors to recognize them and have a reception for them. And we want to be able to have their families that are spending all this time and money to come in town. We wanted it to be more than just walk out on the court, wave, and now leave. And so we like to do that on a Sunday where we have time for them to celebrate and then get back home if they need to do that.
Do you think it had just maybe a hair less emotion for the seniors than it is if it really is the last game?
And we'll have something else more private on the last game. And we also had a special highlight tape and video made before the game, and they got emotional during that. So they know they have more games to play in Reed, but we like to take our time and not rush through something that important.
And the other thing you mentioned, again, we're going to talk talk about the game yesterday and then also the Florida game a few days ago, but high school day, we had a lot of high schoolers there.
A lot of high school students there. We had two games this year where we allowed or announced that it would be a high school game. One was in the non-conference and one was obviously during SEC play. And, let's be honest, like I'm sure a lot of those teams came because they wanted to see LSU play, and instead they were able to watch us, put up a really, really good fight and almost beat the number 3 team in the country. And so that's what it's about. This year is a year of building. It's a year of becoming. We're sowing seeds. And we've been telling all of our prospects and all of the high school coaches and AAU coaches, like, watch our style of play, watch what it is we're doing, and pay attention, because as you continue to watch us and we're recruiting you, can you see yourself playing this style? And I think that was really, really good for us to play the way we did on Sunday in front of those high school coaches and recruits and AAU players. And
for many of our former players that were there, I talked to several of them. My wife did as well, and they were like, "Hey, that's a good product. We like that style." So also trying to resonate the program and tying in the former players, and how important is that for your team?
It is everything. Our former players are the reason why we're in the position we're in. If you go back to the national championship team, but even before that and after that, just the tradition that is Texas A&M women's basketball. And so anytime they can come back and speak life into our current players and tell them why it's so important to wear the jersey, and tell them, my relationships I have now are with my teammates. We remember basketball, but it's these moments off the court that carry the day. And when my mom passed, and when my cousin passed, and my grandmother passed, it was my college teammates who were there to pick me up and get me through those tough times. And so our players need to hear that, and it's important. And we also sent out some boxes. Christina Richardson is walking in. We sent out some boxes to our former players as well, just kind of like a care package to let them know, like, hey, we want you, we need you. And, for them to respond the way they have has just been incredible.
One of those former players that was back, Sydnee Colson, played on that national championship team, but some people may not know that she is the one A&M former player that we have active in the WNBA. Yeah. And she won a championship this last year.
Yeah, with the Las Vegas Aces, and they just got a really nice trade with Candace Parker as well. So they're just doing really good things. Sydnee came back. She won that championship probably right in the beginning of September. And I can remember as soon as I got back from Australia, October 4th, she was calling me saying, hey, I'm coming to town. And she reached out to Christina and said, when are they practicing? And so she spent some time with our team before we started playing games and just talked about what it is to be a teammate. And she said, hey, I went from playing on a national championship team, being a point guard, to being a bench player in the WNBA and really being a practice player. But it's my job every single day to get, the point guard ready, to get our players that are playing ready to go. And so whatever my role is, that's what I have to do. And so I think that was so impactful for them to understand, like, at every level, your role can change, but how you accept that role and how you show up every day is why she has the longevity that she has in the WNBA. But what a great ambassador for our university and for our program.
And piece that all together for a pretty good effort by the Aggies yesterday. Very impressive against the number 3 and undefeated team from LSU. What did you guys do that really caught your eyes, like, hey, that was pretty good?
One of the areas where, and we played them obviously early on in conference play, and we really let them score in transition on us, and it's really hard. They're really fun to watch in transition. That's where they score a lot of points. And so one of our points of emphasis this game was to force them into a half-court game. And then after you do that, you got to box out Angel Reese, right? Which is a tall task. I mean, she's just really relentless in going to pursue rebounds. But, we kept saying she's going to get what she gets. We've got to make sure we don't let 2 and 3 others get involved and have great nights. And Alexis Morris had a really good night for them last night. But I thought we frustrated them at times, and I thought we were aggressive. I felt like when we were in Baton Rouge in January, we kind of let them dictate the pace and let them dictate how the game was going to be played. And I thought we did a much better job on Sunday of being aggressive, getting turnovers, turning them over, frustrating them. And we're just more comfortable and confident offensively as well. You can tell the growth we've had from that game in January until Sunday.
One of the observations I make, I don't know if it's right or wrong, is that it felt like the defense was helping to create offensive opportunities.
Exactly. I thought we had some players come off the bench and be really disruptive. Mackenzie Green was really good. Tanea was really good disrupting, getting them to, turn it over so we could then score in transition and get them a little flustered. So, again, that's what we want to do. That's who our identity is to let our defense, be our identity. I think the other thing is now that we have more players back, we can gamble a little bit more and be more aggressive defensively as well, because we can get you in and out and sub you.
Yeah, it looks like when Tanea Hilton comes in, it seems like a completely different focus. Comes in, and that it works to her advantage, but it's not the same happy-go-lucky person over here. When she's on the court, you better watch out.
Yeah, she's got a different demeanor when she steps onto the court, and we've actually wanted her to play that way, because Tanea is someone, when she's at her best, is when she is aggressive. If she just is the casual Tanea off the court, when she takes that person onto the court, she's not who she needs to be for us. And so we've really just tried to show her and challenge her to be that aggressive person on the floor.
As you get into the fourth quarter, it is 66-62 with a minute 45 to go. 4 points, and had battled back from a start the game at a 9-0 hole. That's a whole different show than an air on this channel. But to get it to 4 several times, what kept you from getting over that hump?
Well, I never want to get a fine from the SEC for talking about officials, so I'm not going to do that.
No.
And I am not one to ever, point in that direction. I do think we had a call or two that was really critical that could have gone, if it could have gone a different way, it would have helped us.
Sure.
I think the other thing, too, that we can consistently point at is in that situation, we had the ball, we run an out-of-bounds play, and Sydnee Bowles comes off a screen wide open, and she steps out of bounds.
Yep.
And that was a crucial moment for us, and so just knowing where we are on the floor, knowing moments like that. And there's a few examples of things like that happened where we had them right there. And so I think one time we didn't box out. They got an offensive rebound on a free throw. So just little things like that.
I would think that what is encouraging during the stretch, while you weren't making field goals or getting an opportunity for and ones, when you got the opportunity to go to the free throw line, you saw great success.
We did. We got to the free throw line. We knocked down free throws. And I think the other thing, too, is what we've talked to our team a ton about is, not having droughts offensively or defensively. Like, good teams are going to go on runs. We need to be able to respond with the run of our own. And I thought we were more consistent Sunday on not letting, once we got into the flow of the game, not in LSU, not letting them go on these long 10 to 12 point runs where we didn't respond on either end of the floor. And same thing for us. I thought once we got into our offensive flow, we were pretty good about, if we come down and don't score this possession, in the next possession we don't score, then this third possession we've got to make sure that we get fouled or we get a good shot. And I thought we have a better awareness of knowing when we haven't scored offensively too.
She's Joni Taylor. I'm Steve Miller. We are here at Rudy's Barbecue. We're also watching the A&M men right now. They're on a 7-0 run right now against Auburn, up in the after just the first time out, 7-4. So we'll be watching that coming up later at 7 o'clock. We've got the debut edition of the Tricia Ford Show. So talking some Aggie softball as well. Coming up on this show, we have Sydnee Roby is going to be here. Also, Jada Malone is in the house as well. And with all of you, we'll talk some more women's basketball. We're live from Rudy's Barbecue. It's the Joni Taylor Radio Show from Learfield. Basketball and barbecue lovers know the perfect brisket needs the right wood. Rudy's smokes all their meats using their delicious signature rubs in 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com. We're at Rudy's Barbecue here on Harvey Road in College Station talking women's basketball. It's the Joni Taylor Radio Show with Joni Taylor. I'm Steve Miller, and hope you come out and join us. If you're out driving around, we're also watching the Aggie men's basketball game against Auburn. A&M leading 9-7 over Auburn. About 12:50 to play there in that first half at Reed Arena. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But we are excited to be joined by a senior, a post player, Sydnee Roby. Sydnee, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Yeah, you're doing good. Tell me about your injury.
So I went down in the Kansas game in December. I tore my ACL. I tore my meniscus.
I was going to say, we need an update here. That coach about fell out of her chair over there. We had a revelation that we were not expecting.
So sorry. No, I tore my meniscus. It was a lateral tear, so they had to take it out and, clean it up. And I did the scope, and I'm about a month into my rehab right now. So, we're doing all the things, taking progress step by step every day.
So does that mean the surgery was before Christmas or after Christmas?
After Christmas. I had surgery on the 29th of December.
And where was that at?
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with Dr. Gordon. He was a previous Milwaukee Bucks surgeon, and he now works for the Marquette women's basketball team.
And so when you leave there, what did they tell you was going to be on the docket for you over the coming weeks?
Well, they told me that I had about a 4-month recovery span. My case was a little special because I have a little bit of missing cartilage in the back of my knee. So they told me that, I need to take it a little bit slower than, most meniscus tears. So right now we're just focusing on minute things, lunging and, all the steps and things like that. So I'm taking things really, really carefully, really, specific to what I need.
We're visiting with Sydnee Roby, and Sydnee, what part of your day, how much of your day is spent on rehab?
I go to rehab 3 times a week. I usually stay about an hour and a half, depending on how my day is. I'm in there doing everything from stretching, rolling, to lunging, a little bit of weighted things, a lot of bands, and so it's a long spectrum of things, but everything in due time to just get back healthy.
And you say get back healthy. Is basketball in the cards when you finish this rehab?
Absolutely. My goal is to come back next year better and stronger than I have for this last year. Yes. So that's definitely the goal, to come back and just be the best version of myself that I can, contribute to the team, and do everything that I can.
What was going through your mind when you got hurt? And describe to me how you got hurt. Do you remember that? I'm sure a million times in your head, but...
Yeah, so I got the ball in a post. I was going up against actually my friend. She plays for Kansas. So I was going up the post. I went up for the shot, and I think we just bumped knees, and it was just really like a freak accident. So, I dropped to the floor, and I was just like, try to get back up really quick and play it off. I'm like, I'm fine. Then I was like, I can't stand. I was like, wow. So I was like, I called for a sub. And I'm like, no, it's like the detrimental, in your head. And I was like, please let it not be the ACL. I'm praying it's not the ACL. So it was just, hold your composure till you get off the court and, just get all the checks. So it was being with Stacy, who's our trainer. She's told us, it doesn't feel like the ACL. So a sigh of relief kind of came over me. But, I knew it was something major because, you hear that pop and you kind of everything just whirls around in your head. But I just knew that I'd have to take this time to really take it seriously, to get back and just to better myself and to set up a regimen for myself that keeps me healthy.
That was the same game that Janiah Barker was hurt?
Yes.
Was she first or were you first? I don't remember.
I think I was first. I don't know.
No? Janiah was first?
Was she first? Oh.
Joni remembers it second by second. We're over here doing revisionist history.
Yeah.
You guys kept the trainers busy.
Yeah, definitely did. We were in there.
So what was it like watching your team and trying to encourage your team when there was only 7 of your teammates healthy enough to play?
It was definitely a unique time for all of us. Just everybody being injured, and especially to the 7 that we had. I think my most important thing that I tried to do for them was just always encourage and uplift them and just remind them how, special they are. And even though it might seem like, we're in a slump or we're in a little gloomy situation, that we have the opportunity to do something special. I've just been so amazed watching them grow over the last couple of games, just seeing them progress and build on the skills that they already have underneath Joni's wings. So it's been really special just to see the progression, even though that I'm not a part of it. I'm still there, seeing them. So I think that's something that I really appreciate, and I hope that they can see it, coming next season.
So as you were working on your game from the end of last season and getting ready for this season, you have a coaching change. How were you working on and developing your game? Where do you think you were at right when you got to that Kansas game?
I think I was working on everything, just trying to progress myself within the system that Joni set for us. And I think that just being the best 5 player that I could be, just being a staple in that center position that I could just be a leader on the court, just have that vision to, see my teammates and help facilitate a little bit. And I think I was in a pretty decent spot, but there was definitely still a lot of work that I could have done, and that's something that I'm going to hone in on, especially coming out of this rehab.
Can you continue to provide leadership from being in your off-court position for the next few months?
Absolutely, because, being on the bench, you get to see everything. So I think, when we come back to the huddles and we go back to the locker room, there are definitely things that I try to point out or I try to make a stance on and tell my teammates that, something they might not see, or reiterate something, so it sounds different coming from me than if it does coming from somebody else. I think just contributing in that type of way and always just trying to be positive and uplifting is something that I always just try to do.
So tell us about your progress from when you played Miami for a couple of years, then you come to A&M. How'd you end up in Miami, and then how'd you end up in College Station?
Memory lane, okay. Going to Miami, I think everybody thought I went down there for the city, and it really wasn't that. I genuinely went down there because I liked the school. I liked the program that was there. UM is a private school. I don't think a lot of people actually know that. It's a small campus. I think that just being there, it was nice to make connections with people, and the system that they ran there, it was very unique to me, and I tried my best to, just mold myself to fit within their system. And I think that the reason why I came to A&M was because they really focused on my personal development as a player. And I think that just the level of sincerity and the level of commitment they had to their players was something that really caught my attention. Just being in a family atmosphere with people that care about you. So that really made me commit to A&M, and then getting here, being in Aggieland has been, all worthwhile. You have people that care about you. We have great fans. We have, the spirit of the 12th man is always there, and I love it so much because it's something unique that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Tell us about your major.
All right, my major. So I major in ag leadership, and I will be getting my master's in sports administration next year. So my leadership major it's very interesting to me because I think when people think about leadership, we think of a one-size-fits-all type of a thing, but when you actually get to study leadership, you get to know that there are very different styles of leadership, and that there are many different concepts and different theories that all tie in together. And then there are also things like, followership, that people don't really understand or actually think about. So I think it's just interesting to explore that realm and to help you in your personal life, and not also personally, but professionally too. So it helps you navigate the real world very eloquently.
You said your master's. When did you get your bachelor's?
Well, I'll be graduating in the fall. I'll be starting my master's next year. So we
are on to, we're going to be graduating in the fall, yes. Going right to a master's program.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you ever think that was possible?
Coming into college, you graduate, but I never thought it was like coming as a senior out of high school, never getting my master's. I didn't really think that far ahead, but definitely being in the moment, it kind of feels so surreal that it's right there. I'm getting my Aggie ring in the fall, so it's like all at the tip of my fingers. So I'm so excited.
What do you want to do with your degrees?
Initially, with my master's, I would probably love to do something like this. I would love to be like a sportscaster or a broadcaster. I would love to be like on side the field or something like that. Or, ideally having a business of my own, being an entrepreneur of some sort. So I think that's probably something in my future.
I bet you'll be really successful.
Thank you.
Sydnee, Roby, congratulations on getting back healthy. We're looking forward to get you back on the court pretty soon. All right, Sydnee, Roby, we got Jada Malone coming up next. We're live at Rudy's Barbecue. It's the Joni Taylor Radio Show from Learfield. Not everyone is a morning person yet, but with Costa Vida's new breakfast tacos, everyone will be. Try the bacon, egg, and cheese or specialties like the machaca beef and egg or sweet pork, egg, and cheese. Stop by the drive-thru any day from 7 to 10:30 a.m. Order online through the Costa Vida app or the website. Become a morning person at Costa Vida. We're back at Rudy's Barbecue here on Harvey Road. It's the Joni Taylor Radio Show with Joni Taylor. I'm Steve Miller, and hope you come out and join us here. We'll be out here till 7 o'clock, and then at 7 o'clock is the debut edition of the Trisha Ford Radio Show. Talk a little Aggie softball, and we're all watching Aggie men's basketball on the TV right now with about 8 minutes to go. A&M currently down 20-14 to Auburn. Kind of been a back-and-forth game when I've paid a little attention to it. Our next game for our Aggie women is going to be this Sunday at Mississippi State. 2 o'clock is game time, and you can listen here on the A&M Sports Network. Locally, that'll be on Gospel 97.3, or you can watch on the SEC Network. Again, that'll be this Sunday. The Aggies off bye date here this midweek. All right, we are joined on our show with Jada Malone, a sophomore, and Jada, heck of a season so far.
Thank you.
Wow, you know, last year, yeah, you get some applause there. All right, that's great. Got a packed house here. Well, last year you got 4 starts last year, and then you wake up this year, and in the middle of all the melee, everybody's getting hurt, everybody's leaving. It's the survival, and Lord, now you're an everyday starter. How did you do that?
I just took apart the role. As Sydnee said earlier, she got hurt, and then our other post player, Jani, got hurt. So, you know, it was up to me and Patty, and we just took the team and let it put everybody on our shoulders and kept it pushing.
Is that hard, easy, or what?
I would say our team makes it easy because everybody takes a day to do it. So, I mean, it was our day at first, but, you know, now it switches between everybody.
Watching you play this season has been a lot of fun. It seems like if there's something to be had on the floor, you're near the ball. You don't care if you're on the floor or standing up. Where did all this aggressiveness come from? Has it been building up? What have you been doing?
Joni Taylor. So we, yeah. This lady over here, we have to be aggressive. Because in practice, we're going to redo the drill. She doesn't care if we get through 1, 2, 3 drills the entire practice. We have to be aggressive, and whatever we do, we have to do it fast, and we have to do it hard. And I think that's something that's been our model for this entire year, and I think I really play by that.
We're visiting with Jada Malone. What's different about your game from last year to this year?
I'm just more comfortable. Like, being around the 12th man, it's different. And I just feel so much more comfortable around them now. I have learned to actually talk to donors, put myself out there, like she said, or like you said. I've been starting, so, I mean, I kind of have to be comfortable, and I like being put in that position. So, yeah.
You signing autographs?
Yes, I do. I've been working on that, actually. My signature has gotten a lot better from last year.
You at home practicing that?
Don't tell nobody, but yes.
Tell us what you're studying at A&M.
I am currently in tech management.
What in the world is that?
To put it simply, it's kind of like computer science. So I'm learning how to tell computers what to do.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. What are you going to tell them?
So
because I think they're running the world sometimes. I think we may have told them too much.
I wonder that too at times, which that's one of the things that I actually want to get into is artificial intelligence. So things like Siri, and I know I saw on TikTok a couple days ago that there's this new vending machine where you can make pizza and you don't have to actually go to a pizza shop anymore. So doing stuff like that, or even working in oil and gas, is something I want to do.
A pizza vending machine?
Yep.
How would you improve that?
You know, that's something I'm going to have to think on.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Does anybody play closer to home than you? Closer to their hometown on this team?
I think me, Mackenzie, and Malia are kind of
close?
the same.
Yeah?
Just different parts, but it's basically the same distance.
Are you too close to home or far enough away from home here at A&M?
I think I'm the perfect distance. If I ever need to go home, it's right there. And if I ever don't want to go home, I'm right here. So, the perfect distance.
Tell us about your family.
So my mom is actually a real estate agent. And she just goes around selling houses from home, so she owns her own business. And my dad works in maritime shipping, which is ships sending gas to other people.
Oh, cool.
And then my sister, she works for Shell, and she's like a customer service type of person, fixes everything with computers. And her husband is an accountant right now.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So there is some aspirations that have been put upon you, some expectations.
Yeah.
Are you going to handle that?
Man, I'm trying.
Yeah?
Yeah, just trying to get A's and do well on the court.
What is it about Texas A&M that we need to do to take the next step?
For us as a team?
Yeah.
Just continuing to stay consistent. I think we have times in games where we could be a little bit better, and we have times in games where we're really great, and we should have more of those times where we're really great. And when we get to be consistent, we're going to look just like LSU.
Are you mean or nice on the floor?
I feel like that depends on who you ask. A lot of people say I'm a little mean. But I just think I have a lot of passion for the game, and it shows at times.
It does show at times. Hey, congratulations on such a tremendous season so far.
Thank you.
Looking forward to more things from you. All right, Jada Malone, everybody. We're live at Rudy's Barbecue. It's the Joni Taylor Radio Show from Learfield. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants to give you a VIP Aggie basketball fan experience this year. Go to 12thman.com/maroon contest and register. One winner and a guest will receive game tickets, hotel accommodations, autographed memorabilia, and more. Register today at 12thman.com/maroon contest. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. We're back on the Joni Taylor Radio Show. We're live here at Rudy's Barbecue on Harvey Road talking women's basketball till 7 o'clock. Come out and join us, and then stick around to talk Aggie softball with the debut edition of the Trisha Ford Show. That starts at 7 o'clock here along the network and here at Rudy's Barbecue. And we're watching the A&M men's basketball game very intently. The Aggies down 29-20. And it's a second meeting between A&M and Auburn on the men's side. And Joni, for you, I don't know how these schedule gods, what in the world happened, but it seemed to have all three of your repeat games
back to back to back.
I can't even imagine how that occurred.
Yeah, when I looked at it, I said, "Wow!" I mean, I've never had that happen.
No.
Like to have 3 games back to back to back of repeats. I mean, it in some ways, and then a bye in between it both times. So in some ways, it's good for us because we can work a little bit on ourselves as well. But that is a first for sure.
And then such a radical change when you face these 3 teams for a second time. The roster you have is completely different than the first time.
It definitely is. And so, again, it gives them a chance to prep for us, but also prepare a little differently. Whereas for us, we can kind of prepare the same because their roster is the same.
When you see how your team has changed over the last 4 games, let me find this number I was looking up today. The offense production and offense was struggling, and that's no secret. It was about 42 points a game there for a small stretch. Over the last 4 games, averaging 69 points a game. Why is that so important?
Well, I mean, in this league, you've got to be able to score 65 to 70 points, right? And then defensively, you want to hold your opponent to around that same number. So we always play the game of we've got to keep this team. We can't let this team score X amount of points, and we've got to get to this number. If we get to this number, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win. And when you're scoring 35 and 40 and 42, it's just not enough. And there are a ton of reasons for that. Obviously, the players that that got injured are very talented offensively, but also even for our 7, they just wore down at the end of the game. And then they start putting so much pressure on themselves because they understand they've got to make shots. And so that's a lot that comes with that mentally.
Of these 4 games, you've had, to me, two games are very similar, 2 games that were very similar in the way that your team performed on defense.
Yeah.
How has that changed from when you got everybody back for Georgia and Vandy till how the defense performed against Florida and LSU?
All right, so, I mean, the Georgia game, we scored 75 points. We gave up 73. And then you look at the Vandy game, and we scored 70-some points and gave up 88. We hadn't given up 88 points all year in conference play, so I was livid. Mm-hmm. And so we just had a very nice conversation about how we were going to do things, and defense has to be our identity. And it's not that anybody doesn't want to do it, but when you've missed as much time as our 3 have missed, there's just a lot they don't know. And so then you rely on your talent instead of doing it the way we want it done. And this is not an individual sport, right? You're not out there by yourself. And so you forgetting to call the ball screen, or you forgetting how to come off of this screen defensively as a guard, now you're forcing a rotation somewhere else. So it's also the teaching and the understanding of, because we messed this up here, it forced this person to rotate, and now her person got open, and now this person has to rotate, and now this person's loose on the board. So just the rippling effect of one thing, because the response was, well, but my man didn't score. No, but us having to help you is what created this whirlwind that we're going under. So I think just showing it to them on film and making sure they understood, like, hey, if you're not going to defend, you're going to come sit over here. And so it just, because we have done this long enough in the league to know defensively what it has to look like.
Well, and now you have that ability to pull someone out and make a rotational change, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad in rebuilding the rotation, but that has that availability changed mindsets.
Well, absolutely. Competition is everything, right? I mean, you need to be able to, that's what you want, right? And you also want to, it's fun to watch, like Sahara Jones played a great game against LSU. It was fun to watch that. Sid was off. So Sid, sit down, Sahara gets to play. You know, and that's what we tell them. Like, as coaches, we don't care who's out there. The 5 that are playing the best that day are going to get the time. And sometimes there's 6 or 7, and sometimes there's 8. And that's what we want. And I think as long as we keep it fair and they know that, and they show up every day competitive and wanting to get better.
I think it's been interesting the last few games, maybe 3 or 4 games, bench points production. And guys, it puts a grin on your face because sometimes that doesn't go that way.
Right.
Somebody sits on the bench and go, oh, no, I'm not going to come in, you don't like me, and I just come do my thing. But people seem to have answered the call.
I think they understand. I think they're starting to see that, you know, again, when we played with 7, it gave everybody an opportunity to get better. It gave those 7 a chance to get better. It gave our injured players a chance to see things differently. And now that we're back together, I think it's just raised everybody's level of play.
So your phrase all year has been becoming, and we look at that game on Sunday, was great atmosphere, got within 4 very late there in the game. What was the next step in becoming?
I think we are becoming consistent. I hope that's what we're becoming. I think we're also becoming resilient. You know, we're becoming a fourth quarter team. You know, you would look back in some other games, we'd either start the third not well, or we would just run out of gas in the fourth quarter. So I think we're also learning how to play in close games. And that's something that just happens through experience. You look at our roster, and there's not anyone who has consistently done that, you know, in the SEC. And so they've been in a lot of close games, and as we continue to do that, you can just continue to see the improvement.
You used a phrase a couple of weeks ago that your team doesn't quite yet know how to win.
Yeah.
Have you made steps? Is getting closer count? Of course, using hand grenades, I know where it counts at close, but does that count? How are you making in that progress?
You know, there's a quote that says almost doesn't count, right? And in some cases that's true, but in the case of this, it counts, because we're going to be in close games. We're going to be in close games next year. So all of this matters. And when you look at our roster and who we have returning, it's going to feel totally different next year because they have that experience and they know what to do. You know, even in our LSU game, we wanted to foul one more time and we didn't get that done, you know. So then you're at a point where 10 seconds have run off the clock and you're like, just don't foul, right? Yeah. That was a learning moment for us. And so just that won't happen again. Next time we'll get that next foul. And so all of it is something that we're just continuing to teach them, show them, and then work on it the next time.
All right, that's Joni Taylor. I'm Steve Miller. We've got to grab a timeout. And when we come back, we've got a few final items. Get set for that Mississippi State game coming up on Sunday in Starkville. We're live at Rudy's Barbecue. It's the Joni Taylor Radio Show from Learfield. We're back at Rudy's Barbecue. It is the Joni Taylor Radio Show. Texas A&M getting set to take on Mississippi State. That will be on this Sunday in Starkville. Game time, 2 o'clock. You can listen on the Texas A&M Sports Network locally. That will be on Gospel 97.3 FM, or you can watch it on the SEC Network. Our thanks to St. Joseph Health. Kids 12 and younger can join the official Kids Club of Texas A&M Athletics. So the Junior Aggie Club members, they get free admission to several Aggie athletic events. A member swag box featuring premium youth t-shirt, perks, and a ton of fun. Hey parents, visit junioraggieclub.com and sign your kids up today. We'll take a final timeout, and then we'll be back with our remaining moments with Joni Taylor. It is the Joni Taylor Radio Show from Learfield. This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by Texas A&M University. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the express written consent of Texas A&M University and Learfield. Announcers are provided by Learfield and Texas A&M University. It is the Joni Taylor Radio Show with Joni Taylor. I'm Steve Miller, and how about that? The Aggie men have got that game tied with 2 minutes to go in the first half. 34 all. Got a run of, I don't know, was that about 7-8 points, I think, Joni, was the run right now? And, of course, call a timeout when you get a run going. That's a coach's dream to get that, have somebody else call that timeout. Reminder, folks, Texas A&M softball hosts the Texas A&M Invitational at Davis Diamond. That's this Thursday through Sunday. Teams include Tarleton, Michigan State, Northern Kentucky, and A&M Commerce. For that full tournament schedule and info on the promotions and to buy tickets, visit gameday.12man.com. And you can learn more about Aggie softball coming up here in just a few moments with the debut edition of the Tricia Ford Radio Show. We've got Coach here, and I think Matt Simon is somewhere around here. If not, we'll find somebody else to host it. That's fine. There you go. Yeah, Matt is.
We can
here.
let Roby. We can
Roby
call Roby
host it. Roby wanted to host it. We've got a lot of people eager to get involved here. So we've got that going for us. All right, so Mississippi State coming up, Joni. It's a second time to play Mississippi State, and that first time didn't go as well.
Yeah.
But it's a different team, right?
Different team. Give Mississippi State credit. They were really aggressive with us, and we didn't handle it well. I mean, that just really boils down to what it was. If I remember correctly, we come out and they just jump on us really early, and then we kind of settle into the press and kind of get ourselves back in it and make it a game. But I thought all night long they pushed us off of our cuts. They, we weren't strong with the ball. I didn't think we were willing to post up the way we needed to, and They just bully balled us a little bit, and we let them do it. And so, again, I'm looking forward to this game on Sunday because this is how we measure our growth. And this is one of the things we talked about, playing 3 teams in a row who you've already played one time. Like, how do you measure yourself from the first time we played them? Like, Florida was our second SEC game, and LSU was our third. Watching that film and watching us now, like, we're totally different. And, again, the outcome is not what we want, but you can just see the growth. So we know Mississippi State's going to be aggressive. They just got a win against Tennessee in double overtime last night at their home floor.
Just a few points scored in that, Joni.
Oh, my gosh.
Is it 91-90? Something 91-90.
Sunday's game is their Think Pink game, their Play for K game, so they're going to pack it out, and it's going to be a great atmosphere. And so we've got to really be aggressive and take the fight to them and not let them push us off screens like they did the first game.
So that comes up 2 o'clock this Sunday in Starkville. You can listen on the A&M Sports Network, locally Gospel 97.3, watch on the SEC Network. Also, 12th Man app makes it easy for you to dial into the broadcast. Well, tomorrow morning, bright and early, we got Beyond Basketball. And if folks want to get signed up for Beyond Basketball, that's the community and network opportunity for women in the Brazos Valley, second Wednesday of every month and all the way through May. Angela Jones at Women's Basketball Office is the coordinator of that. What's on tap for tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow, Felicia Hall Allen is our speaker. She played at Iowa for Vivian Stringer, and then she owned the Charlotte Sting. She was the GM for the Charlotte Sting, the WNBA team. She's worked for Nike. She's now an agent, and she does team building and coaches consulting. So she wears all different hats. She works for the Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, so she is just, if you want somebody to come in and transform your team, she's the person to talk to, and she's a dynamic speaker. So I'm excited. She always gets me going and motivates me. I'm excited for our Beyond Basketball members tomorrow to experience her. She's really good.
I mean, she's no stranger. She's been around the game a long time. How long have you known her, and what do you take away from her?
I have known her since I got in the business. So we're talking 2002. Everybody knows the name Felicia Hall Allen. I got personally connected with her probably in 2014, and just have grown closer to her over the years. And she's got such an array of experience, from obviously playing for C. Vivian Stringer and then working at Nike and then running a WNBA team, and just her insight is just next level. And the thing that I like the most about her is she's got some truth serum that'll knock you on your feet sometimes. But you got to have somebody like that who will tell you the truth. And then after they do that, they can also get you back going in the right direction and say, this is what we've got to do next. But her ability to call you up that's what I say, not call you out, but call you up and challenge you and make you better. It's just like none other than I've experienced.
Will she have time to visit with the team or save that for a future visit?
Nope, she's visiting with the team. She is visiting with the team. She actually spoke to the team. We had a team retreat, and she and her husband came in and spent 2 days with our team, and she's going to spend the first hour of practice tomorrow with our team again to kind of have a check-in and see kind of where we are. So if she's around, we're going to put her in front of our young ladies. There's no doubt about it.
Excellent. All right, Joni, looking forward to Sunday. You got any plans for your Thursday? It's a Thursday with no game.
Right now, it's an off day. I'm sure when I look at my calendar in a day or two, it'll be packed full of things to do. So I definitely got some catching up to do with some other things, but I'll try to take a little bit of time to rest a little bit too.
Perfect. All right, well, we've got the broadcast on Sunday, and then we'll be back here. Valentine's dinner here at Rudy's. Join us next Tuesday night. Why not? Bring somebody you love and somebody you don't. That'll be fine too. And we'll do that all here next week. All right. Our thanks to Sydnee, Roby, and to Jada Malone, also to the coach, Joni Taylor. Our engineer is Kevin Minchow, also Chase over there, and to Ross Steiner. Everybody, we appreciate what you do for the show. For Coach Joni Taylor, I'm Steve Miller. Have a great night. The Trisha Ford Radio Show starts in just like 1 minute. That's all you got to do to wait for that show. Have a great night, everybody.